Your shoulder's in the frame.
Are we on?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. Hey, everybody.
We're live.
We got such good direction here. I didn't know we were on. Ed Zamora, how are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Welcome, everybody, to Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. And what a studio audience we have tonight. Man, I haven't seen people like this since I was thrown in LA County Jail the other night. Man, this is a great crowd, let me tell you. Really great to be with you all, and Ed is going to do a fabulous, awesome lobster seminar. This is another special edition of Lobster Chronicles brought to you by Promar. We are so stoked to be working with Promar on Lobster Chronicles, and it's so great to have you all here. We're going to have one giveaway tonight, everybody, but it's only for in-studio folks, so it's one of you lucky guys out there that are going to win, and Dave Lightfoot's been winning everything in sight lately, so man, let somebody else win once in a while, Dan. Hey, if you don't mind, hit that like button. Please share these videos everywhere. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, and you can tick that rotten, filthy, disgusting little bell, and you'll be notified when there is new content. You can follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Ed, you're going to share some of your vast knowledge.
Yeah.
And I mean vast. You could go on for literally hours, maybe days.
I could, yeah.
Yes, but Brian says 1 hour. So
I'm going to give GPS numbers to all of Brian's spots, and any of these guys that want to share them, we're going to give them out, right? Because I don't, but yeah. Anyways.
Perfect. We got Chuck Zimmer from Z Custom Rods. He's joining us right now. Z Custom Rods, Chuck, thanks for being here. And David Rosenthal up there in the Ventura area, I think, is where we find David. He's saying good evening. He's from Angler Pliers. And Oscar Geronimo is joining us. He says, good evening, gentlemen. All guys at Bob Sands are watching, and they say hi. And we even have Mike Krinkovich going on and on and on. You want to take off on your seminar?
Whenever you're ready, you let me know.
I'll kind of intersperse in some questions from our audience out there, and we'll let you take it away. Here, I present to you Ed Zamora, everybody.
All right. So pretty much, if you're not a big lobster fisherman, we use the ambush nets from Promar. You can get them here at Islands Tackle, of course. And this is the most common setup right here. If you have this, if you buy the whole set together, you can drill in a sinker right here so that your float will stay up like that. If not, it's just going to flip. You'll never see your light at all. And so this setup, you can look on YouTube also. I show how to do it. And I'll show you guys pretty much.
Ed, where do they find you on YouTube? On Promar?
Ultimate Fishing or under Promar, yeah.
Okay.
You can find out how to rig up your buoys so they stay straight up. I show how to do it. Pretty much when you get out there, you want to make sure you put the bait. You want to use these, the black cages. If there are no seals around, that's great. You know, they can see it better. They can get on it better. But honestly, if there's seals around, you use the black cages, they're going to rip those out. They're going to damage your net. They're going to blow bubbles in there and take all your bait out. But if you use these bait cages, the seal cages from Promar, you lock them in, they're not going to be able to touch it. They'll literally come up. When they see you come up and put the nets down, the seals will follow them all the way to the bottom to see what's going on. And they'll just literally rape you, take all your bait, and you're done. If you don't have enough bait, you're done for the night. So you're going to lock them in like this here in the middle cage. Some guys, you got to really watch it. Sometimes you bring out some rookies, and just me and my buddy were discussing the other day. They put them right over like this, right over the center rope. And what's going to happen is you're just going to pull up the net. It's going to be sideways. It's going to dump out everything. It's no good. You want to make sure they're locked in on the center ring. If I can get it in here.
Easier said than done, Ed.
I don't know why it's not.
We're coming to you from Island Fishing Tackle, everybody.
We're good. So this is how it's going to sit inside there. One thing that's very, very important. When you pull these nets, you have to do a steady pull. If you got somebody that's going to pull, that rope slips one time, this is what's going to happen. The G-force of the water, when that hesitates, it's going to push your lobsters right out. You'll lose them. You'll think, oh, this is not a good spot. Well, you probably slipped, or you let the rope slip out of your hands. That constant pressure is going to keep them in there. These guys will be spinning. I've fished them in 10 feet of water. Couple pulls, you can see what's going on. And now you'll see they're flying around in there. They're not just laying in there like, hey, what's up? They're spinning. They're trying to get out of there. The smaller ones will come, they'll go right through the net and get out, which who cares because they're short. I've had a 13-pounder lay right on top. So pay attention when you're pulling them. He may not be in the cage. So be ready to flip him into the boat right away so you don't lose him, okay? So that's very important. As for bait, I use fresh sardines. It's one of my favorites. It's just fresh sardines. Get it from the bait dock, throw one in there live, let them click around in there, make noise. That makes a difference. Salmon heads, if you can get them. If you want to spend the money, you can get salmon heads and put them in there, and then throw some sardines in there too. Once in a while, I'll throw a piece of squid in there. I don't really care for that, but it might make a difference, the smell. So some people say use 2-day-old bait. They leave it stay out over in the sun. I have yet to try it. Because I'll tell you what, the smell on your hands is not going to come off for at least 3 or 4 days if you do that, okay? So I prefer the fresh dead mackerel, sardine, salmon heads, and go from there, okay? Real important, when you drop these things, you're going to be dropping them in structure, okay? You don't want to drop them on top of the rocks, but you want to drop them on the edges of the rock. Another thing to keep in mind, if you're working around some real big rock, you want to make sure when you pull them, you don't catch them like this. The rocks are here. You want to pull your boat on the outside and pull it that way. There's a lot of things to remember. The captain should be remembering which one to pull, which way to pull it. The other guys are just the pullers. You don't have to go crazy trying to tell them what to do. Their goal is to get the rope without pulling on it too soon. If you feel pressure, you better not pull it. If you have to spin around with the boat again to get it, you want to do that. Because once they feel something go, they're gonna want to jump out. They're gonna try and get out of there. And if you've got a big one laying on there, he's gone. So keep that in mind. Working around structure is where they're gonna be, because as soon as it gets dark, I usually wait till it gets, I'll drop it as the sun's going down, and then I'll let them soak for about 30 minutes. Sometimes you can pull within 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If they're really crawling, it's good to check your net after 10 minutes. And sometimes you'll have 3 or 4 in there already, and that's going to be a good night, okay? So sometimes as the night goes on, of course, you're going to let them soak for an hour longer, and then also move them away from the structure. Like just say the break walls, I would not recommend fishing in front of a break wall in a windy day. You don't want to do that. It's too dangerous, too risky. So make sure you get on the corners, the outside corners, away from the wall. If it's rough and it's big waves, and wind. Wind is your enemy. If you run over one of these guys and it wraps on your prop, it's not something you're going to get off right away. You might have to jump in, cut it off with a knife, or get your gaff. And what I usually do is I'll grab the end of the rope first, hand that to somebody while they pull it, so you don't lose your lobsters and you don't lose your net. Because if you got it on that prop, it might be already cut. So if you untangle it off the prop, you're going to lose a net. So it's good to know, gaff that other end first, get your net. You know, these things aren't cheap, so you don't want to lose them. Okay? So that's one of the things I recommend if you ever run them over, which it happens.
Ed, do you mind if I read a couple questions to you?
Go for it.
Okay, perfect. Anybody out there has a question, just let us know.
Yeah.
Yes, Brian, you have a question.
You mentioned that you use sometimes different baits. Are you using different baits in one bait cage, or do you usually, like, if you're sticking to sardines, you're only using sardines, or do you ever make sardines with salmon head?
Question is, everybody, do you mix your bait in a cage, or do you use salmon head in one cage and sardines in another? Ed.
Okay, so that's a good question. So what I tend to do, sometimes I'll split it up. I'll do 5 nets with salmon heads just to see what they like better, what seems to be working. Salmon heads and then sardine or mackerel, whatever, and then just see what works. Another thing you're dropping your nets is when you find a good area where they're at, you might want to go get your other nets and bring them to that area, okay? You bring them to that area and spread them out. Don't put them too close because you might run them over. Remember, safety first, okay? What's the questions you got?
So we got one question here from Blessed BD8s, and it is, what about laying the hoop nets out on the pier? Is that a good, or is it more common to have bigger catches fishing from a boat?
Well, I don't do much pier, but I know guys that have, and they do pretty good. It is possible. Make sure you got your licenses. Everybody that gets on a boat has to have a license, okay? On the pier, you have to have a fishing license, and you have to have your lobster card, okay? Without that, you're gonna get in trouble. So, and then you gotta measure, you gotta have a measuring device for everybody on the boat, and also on the pier, I'm sure you're gonna have a measuring device for your nets.
Yeah.
On a boat, you're only allowed 5 nets if you're one person on the boat. After that, the maximum is 10, okay? Any other questions?
No, that's it for right now.
Okay. So the other good thing, this is your gauge right here. This is going to be the size for the lobsters, for the crabs. This is for the lobster, and that's pretty much 3 1/4 inch. And you want to lay it on their head. We can use this as an example. So you would put it between the eyes, put it like this, drop it down. If it passes, let's just say this is the edge of the shell. If it clicks on the shell like this and the antennas, you're good. If it drops, throw it back, okay? Fish and Game will pressure it, and sometimes they'll push down on it, and if that thing pushes over on that head, you're gonna get a ticket, okay? So it's something to make sure you don't do.
So if it's close, play it safe, right?
Throw it back, throw it back. Another thing, after your trip, while you're still on the water, you have to fill out your cards as you leave the launch ramp and what area you're going to, okay? You got to keep that in mind. They will ticket you if you're not filled out when you come back. So you got to fill it out. You're not going to put the quantity, but you're going to put the zone where you're going, okay? And you want to do that also before you leave the dock, okay? Just the heads up on a boat.
There's a number assigned to the zone. How do you figure that out?
So on the list here, there's a huge list here of the areas. So you got Redondo, you got Palos Verdes, you got Long Beach, and so you got the zone, and it tells you the zone number. You're gonna put that over here. There's a zone. You'll put it here, and also you gotta put what kind of code for the net. This is a code 2, I believe. The flat nets are 1. Okay, that's real important too. You're not gonna put the quantity of lobsters. You're not gonna fill it out until the end when you leave. And I recommend I put them in my bait tank while I'm out there, and we count them as we go. And sometimes you miscount. So make sure you check your count before you leave, before you go in. Always take them back out, recount them, and everybody puts the quantity they got on the lobster card, okay? So these are very important things. You're allowed 7 lobsters each, okay? Let's see, what else can we talk about? Okay, I've got my buoys. These are my buoys. I made these so I can reach up and just grab them without using a gaff on the rope. This is what you can get. I'll tell you. So this is the way they're gonna be if you just stay with the setups that you get. Okay, and what I do when I put them out, because some people number them. I don't number mine. I don't know, just too much headache for me. But I do this. When I put them out, these are the Promar light sticks, okay? They've got them here at Islands also. When I put them down, I put them flashing. As I pick them up, right before I put it back down, I put it on solid. So now I know not to pick up that one again. Because sometimes you'll go around and you'll, did we get that one or not? If you do this, you're going to do it. I guarantee you. So, and if you forget, you got to train your guys. The guys that pull, those are your guys that are going to be controlling the light. So you're going to put in blinking to start out or solid, whichever one. But this is the benefit of having these. You can have the regular glow sticks. They work great too, but you're not going to be able to control the lighting. So they work great. Promar has these too. Islands has them, I'm sure. And they work good too. So it just depends on your preference. You got to maintain these, take care of them, because they will get water in them sometimes. But if you keep them nice and tight, some guys will put grease on the edges before they put them down. And that keeps the water out of them too.
Question about having a Go ID on the buoy. Is that mandatory?
Yes, it is mandatory. It is mandatory.
And could you explain what that is exactly, Ed?
What it is?
Go ID?
The Go ID is on your lobster card. It's going to be right here. The Go ID number is going to be right on the very top. And you got to either write it on your buoy. Okay? You write it on your buoy with a Sharpie, or I would put it on here. Now, I haven't really gone out much, so the writing's already fades out on them. I leave these out. So usually every year you're going to have to write down your Go ID number. It's something Fish and Game does. I don't know why they do it, but it is a benefit. If you leave your net out there and somebody finds it and they're nice enough to return it, they could post it on Facebook, Instagram, give the Go ID number, and maybe somebody would get their nets back, you know? Because sometimes you're out there in the fog, you might forget one. I've had stingrays get inside here. I've had sharks get in them. Be careful as you pull them up. You could have a sculpin in there, and you reach in there to grab your lobster and you didn't see the sculpin. Guess what? Yeah, that's going to hurt, okay? Yeah, you'll see it. You won't see it with the kelp, exactly. In them and jump out into the boat. And my poor friend never saw more eel. He thought it was an electric eel. He was running around the boat screaming like a crazy man. It was the funniest thing ever. He thought it was an electric eel. So
I love it. Hey, Robert Graber says, good evening, Phil and the Friedman Adventure family fanatics. Happy special edition of Lobster Chronicles Thursday. Counter clicker that they have. Right. To keep an accurate count of how many bugs go in the tank. Good idea, Ed?
Good idea. Another thing you want to do too is search your boat. Before you go in, have a spotlight, of course. Another thing is, real important, you can buy this. Something else Promar sells. And it's a reflective tape. You want to put it on the buoy or on whatever setup you have, okay? And so if the fog rolls in, you could always run your spotlight. It's a good thing to have a spotlight on the boat. You run it, and you'll see it right away with the reflective tape. Without it, you probably won't see them. So you want to search your boat before you go in or every once in a while, because you'll get a short jump out of your net, okay? And they'll hide. If you got a hiding spot on that boat, he's going to hide in there. And you go in, Fish and Game's checking, they're going to come in your boat, and that guy's going to crawl out right when you're not looking, okay? It hasn't happened to me, but, you know, it can easily happen, okay? Because I've found them by searching my boat. They'll crawl underneath whatever's possible. Somebody's jacket, and you'll run around the boat, look, and you'll find them and throw them overboard, okay? Hopefully you don't get boarded right then when that happens, but something you want to keep in mind.
Bless V8 says, is it 7 lobster per person?
7 per person.
Okay, perfect. And let's see, James Mosier says reflective tape is your best friend.
It
when
is,
you're doing
absolutely.
This. Explain that a little bit more for us. And a spotlight is a must, he adds.
Yes, yeah. Just the same thing I just spoke about was putting reflective tape on your buoys, whatever type of buoy you got. This one's a little worn out. I got to do it again, but anyways, these stick up pretty good off the water, so you can see them really well with the spotlight. Very important.
Ed, do you have any special time that you prefer to hoop net for lobster? Is it after a storm, during the full moon, or all that's irrelevant? You just go when you can go and hope for the best.
No, it's correct. If it's been raining, it's a good time to go during or right after a good storm, because that water is moved around. There's more debris, so the lobsters get more comfortable. The fresh water hits the rocks, and it pushes them out. They come out because they don't like it. They don't like that. They don't like that fresh water getting them. This is a reflective tape right here.
This is all stuff you can get at Island Fishing Tackle, everybody.
You got the glow sticks. You've got the headlamp. And then you've got this lead you can use also to keep your rope straight up and down. It would just, if I had it out of the package, you would clip it on somewhere around here. And what it will do is keep your rope tight. It's a little sinker with a clip on it. You can clip it anywhere on your line. So that works pretty good too for keeping your line straight up and down, because this stuff floats. So if you keep it very long, sometimes I'll coil it up if I start changing depths, and I'll put a zip tie on it to keep it from running out, because somebody's going to run them over. If there's a lot of people out there, somebody will run them over, and you'll lose a net or you'll have other problems. Another thing I recommend is to be very friendly to your fellow lobster people out there, okay? They may save your life, okay? Some people will complain, say, this is my spot. There's no spot is your spot. You can put your nets out there early. They have to be in visual sight per Fish and Game. You're not supposed to just put them out and go behind the wall and hide, but people do it. But if the lifeguard, they can pull them if you're not there, and they can take them because it's a safety hazard. So if you go out during the day early in the daytime and put your nets out marking a spot, and you go fishing, you better forget about those nets. They're probably not going to be there when you get back. So you want to put them out before dark or while you're going to be there so you can still see them, okay? So very important.
Great stuff, Ed. Anybody here have a question? Well, I don't want to ignore our studio audience, our vast studio audience. Shivo.
Do you need to leave your lobsters whole and intact?
Yes.
So the
Yes.
question is, do you need to leave your lobsters whole and intact till you get home?
Right, okay. It's illegal to rip them, even when you put them in the freezer. Okay, these are things I shouldn't really quote, but I do know that. So if you rip them and put them in baggies with the tails, you can get in trouble for that. Okay, and you're not supposed to have more than 7 in your possession. Okay, if your family has lobster cards, okay, you're good. You could have more. But if you just have you and you have 20 lobsters in there, you could get in trouble. So, and you want to keep them whole.
We're talking theoretically, though,
Yes,
right? Because
yes.
Department of Fish and Wildlife isn't busting down your door.
They
are they?
don't that I know of. They're really good. They're really cool about it. They're actually pretty nice out there. They're not bad.
Yeah, right. They're trying to protect the resource. So I think those laws are for poachers, right? That have
Yes.
500 bugs in their house.
Yeah, people that, go crazy with
Yeah. James Mosier says, Phil, I'll send you a video of how we do our buoys. We drill a hole and put a giant sinker on one side and then put a glow stick hole on the other side so it sits upright.
That's going to be right here, yep. Right here, and that's your hole for the top. And you can get a video from Promar on how to do it, okay? We demonstrate how to do it. So it's pretty much, I think it's a 6 or an 8 ounce that you slide in there, and it locks in there. You can glue it if you want. But yeah, and that'll keep it straight up and down just like that.
Excellent. We are coming to you from Island Fishing Tackle, everybody. You can find all of this lobster gear, all these Promar great items right here in Carson, California. And I highly recommend you come down and say hi to Sam De La Torre, who's off camera tonight, the lucky devil. He's hiding over there. Anybody else with a question here in our studio audience? Okay, nothing right now. How about full moon? Is that a good time or bad time, or would you pass on it if you?
I've been doing this for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And I really can't tell you what the best time is. I can tell you that when the tide's coming up is usually better, because when you put your nets out, the scent is going to go to the rocks while it's going up. So you could look at your tides, see when the best time is, when the sun's going down, is the tide coming up. I've done good when the tide's going down. But then again, it's weird because you don't know. I haven't figured this out. But yeah, on a full moon.
You've been doing it all these years,
Yeah.
so it's complicated, isn't
Right.
it?
Even on a full moon, they say, oh, it's too bright. You know, they're shy. They don't want to come out. It's just, they're either crawling that night or they're not. It's weird. You can go out there and maybe get 2 lobsters in a whole night. And I'll go home by 9. I'm done. 9, 10.
So 2 questions. One is like, what's your opinion on as far as just the durability of a hoop net? Like how long, before one kind of needs repair or anything like that? And then number 2, like, as far as depth, like how deep do you think someone would need to start thinking about before they start going to a heavier version of the hoop net?
All right,
Good
2
question.
questions. So durability of the hoop net and how deep before you need to change to a more sturdy net,
Okay.
heavier net.
So every year you want to check your ropes. This is not a good sign where it's white like this. It's getting fragile. It's still, you can check them. But if you don't check them, they could break on you. They get brittle. So it's good to replace them. Depth-wise, early in the season, like right now, my preference is shallow. I've gone into Palos Verdes and fished them in 10, 12 feet of water. Okay, I've even dropped them in 6 feet of water and do very well. As the season goes on, they seem to come out deeper. Okay, Long Beach is not something I'm really familiar with. There's a lot of people that do very well there. I've had a lot of issues with seals, and if you don't have these seal cages, good luck, okay? But Long Beach is just not my preference. It seems like I'm there till 2 in the morning to get a limit. But some people have good spots. They get them good. But I haven't had much luck there. I'll go shallow and PV near the kelp lines. As it goes on, I'll drop them in 100 feet of water to 50 feet of water. And you got to experiment. You got 10 nets to put out. Like I said, one person, only 5. 10 nets, you've got more areas to test. You could go shallow, and then you can drop some deep, mid-range, and go all the way to 100 feet. Promar does make another net that's heavier. I forget how many pounds. 8 pounds is it, or what is it, 12?
So we have the standard size one, which is going to be the 5 pound. That's a 32 inch.
Standard is 5 pounds.
5 pounds and 32 inches, and then we have the XL, which is going to be 36 inches and 6 pounds.
6 pounds for the XL.
And then once you move up, the next size up is going to be the XLH, which is a heavy version, and that's going to be 14 pounds.
XLH, 14
XLH,
pounds.
If you want to go in 100, 150 feet of water, you'll get crabs there too. And that net, you won't have to put sinkers on it. And another thing is you better have a puller. I'm talking about a real puller, electric
That's
puller.
Michael Limon. That's our
Okay?
puller right
An
there.
electric puller. Or you better have a young kid on the boat that doesn't care. But I would definitely not do it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, excellent. Let's see. James Mosier from Full Spectrum Sport Fishing out of Huntington Beach. They fish a lot of lobster. He says they've had limits on the full moon. They've been skunked on the full moon. He says, it's kind of a crapshoot. Just what you said, Ed, pretty much.
Another good thing is I did speak to Critters. They're the guys that do commercial lobstering. So there's months where the lobsters will molt. They shed their shell. When they do that, that's going to be your worst month ever to go out, okay? There's no way of knowing when it is. I don't know. Not like I said, I'm not an expert like you. I don't even think they know, but they would tell me, hey, they're molting right now. We're not getting any in our cages. So that's why it's so bad. So you may have a month where it's really bad, and that's probably why they molted. They don't want to come out because their protection is gone. Okay, their protection is that shell, the horns, all that. They have an antenna, all that. When they molt it, they're soft. They're at risk of getting eaten by eels or fish. So, something to know.
All right, good stuff. Anybody here with a question? Chivo, you look like you do have some question.
When you talk
do they all do it like at the same time, or just individual? Kind of?
That's a really good question.
That's a
actually.
good question.
So he's
I don't
asking
know.
when they molt, do they all molt together at the same time, or is it this one's
They might.
molting and then?
They might. I have no idea.
Yeah, because Mother Nature is weird that way, huh, Chivo?
Well,
It's
yeah, like you said, I mean, that could be like a bad month or a bad week if you go out and don't get nothing. So I'm
Right.
wondering if
I've actually had one that molted, and I had the shell in the net. It was the craziest thing. We thought we had a lobster. We thought we had a legal, and it was just the shell. The whole lobster was sitting there. I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, really. Anybody else out there with question? Do you guys mostly fish from a boat, our studio audience, or does anybody do like jetties and piers? And I know Chiva does, Matt.
I'm new out to the West Coast.
Yeah.
I'm from South Florida, so whole different lobstering deal. out
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Totally. And so yeah, right now I'm just from the breakwall and stuff like that.
And what's your success been like?
It's a hit or miss.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but even when you get one or two, though, it's a thrill, right? Yeah, Matt from South Florida is here.
Real quick, and some nights nothing.
right. Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, well, do you have any problem eating lobster that are caught inside the harbor? Some people say, "Oh, I'd never eat anything in there." I do not, but you
No,
hear that nonsense once
I
in a while.
don't. Yeah, I don't worry about stuff like that. I mean, I'm still alive. I mean, I drank out of a water hose when I was a kid.
Yeah, right.
You know, there's people that really look into this stuff in depth, and you know, these things have filters just like we do. We filtered bad air, and we're still alive. So I don't know. It's a judgment call on that.
If you were to pick an area here in the LA Orange County area to run out of, Huntington Beach, or would take it down to San Diego, LA, where do you have a favorite? Do you have a place where, yeah, man, I can
I have
live
a
it out?
favorite, but I can't tell you about it. But
Can you be general about it? Is it in the Orange
well,
County?
I can give you some areas.
Yeah.
Okay. I mainly fish out of Del Rey, so I would say Santa Monica Stones. Okay, and you got to have your fish finder. You got to look for the rocks, and you're gonna drop them around there. You can go towards Malibu, the kelp lines. Even though there's commercial guys out there, their cages are designed to catch legal size halibut. I mean, not halibut, lobster. Legal size lobster. So they're able to crawl back out, okay, the ones that are short. But you'd be surprised out in Malibu, you could get, even though there's commercial cages out there, you could do pretty good around them because there's still legal lobsters walking around. The later it gets, the bigger ones come out, is what I've noticed. Midnight, 1, 2 in the morning is when you get the monsters, okay? It's not fun to be out there that late, but I have caught a 13-pound lobster that was on top of this thing. It was never even inside of it. And I had to flip him into the boat. So I do know that. The bigger ones, they're slower. I don't know what it is, but they seem to come out later.
That begs another question. A lot of people say those big ones are not good to eat. I bet that thing was delicious. Am I right?
They're delicious, okay?
Yeah.
The reason why, I'll tell you why. The reason why, you overcook them.
Yeah.
People tend to overcook it. So just like a halibut from Alaska, I've had the driest halibut from Alaska because it was super thick. Okay? Steak it out, thin it out, and then grill it and leave it almost raw. You know, like not raw, but medium. And it'll taste just the same. But if you look at a halibut steak and you throw it on the frying pan, what's going to happen? You're going to flip it and flip it and flip it, and it's going to be forever before it gets cooked. Now it's dry. So same thing with lobsters. Now, if you feel sorry for a big lobster, hey, go ahead, throw it back. I don't care. I'm not going to, but, you know.
Chivo.
I've had one that fed 4 people. So,
You said sometimes the big ones tend to come out later. So if you start fishing, say, or start dropping your nets at 5 or 6 on the 19th, at midnight, do you immediately got to get out your card and turn on right the 20th because it's the following day?
I don't know the full regulation on that, but yes, you do. Okay? So you're going to have to refill out your card.
Because you're
for the
fishing
new
on
date.
another day after
Yes.
midnight.
And it doesn't mean you can keep 2 limits, okay? Remember that. I've seen a guy come in once on opening day when I think it started at like midnight or something, or like 6 o'clock or 7, and he fished all the way up to the next morning, and then he went out again that day. Well, Fish and Game recognized him. He goes, I just checked you. You had a limit. You came in at 1 in the morning. You already got your limit for today. And he's like, huh? He goes, well, I got another limit. And he goes, yeah, good thing. Now I'm going to ticket you. So, because in other words, he had 2 limits for the same day. So it kind of gets confusing.
All right, I'm going to catch up on a few questions here. One guy asked, Blessed V8s, wants to know, can you chum for lobster like you do for sharks, or is that not a thing? I think I know the answer to that.
I don't recommend. Another thing I'll yell at the guys, when they're baiting the cages, they spill some on the deck, they'll throw it overboard on our lobster spot. Don't do that. These things are attracted to a little piece of bait. If you ever see a crab on the rock, you could give him a piece of squid this big, and he'll sit there and gnaw on it, okay? They'll eat that. I'm sure lobsters do the same thing. So if you chum the area, it's probably a real bad idea, because they're not going to come to your bait and they're not going to get in your cage. So I don't recommend that. I've seen guys out there doing that. I'm like, what are they doing? I don't know how they did, but I didn't hoop there. Another thing, if you come into a spot and there's divers in the water, you might want to pull your nets and leave. It's my recommendation. Unless they're your buddies, you don't want to be there. Because those lights, when they hit lobsters, they get spooked. They're not going to want to come out. They're going to hunker down in the rocks. They're not going to want to come out if you light them up with a spotlight. So if you see a diver, he could be taking your lobsters out of your net. I don't want to say it, but they could be doing that. They'll turn off their lights, go follow your rope down just like the seal does. Go down, and they have at whatever they want. You can't see them. And so if you ever see a diver, you might want to pull your nets and go somewhere else, unless they're your buddies.
Jeff Lingle is 170 miles down the Baja coast right now on a yacht, enjoying the show, man. So how cool is that? That is bitch. And he's down there around Socorro, down below San Quintin area. So, hey, Jeff, great to have you with us. Carver Gruber, 3949. What do you think about lobster hooping from a pedal drive kayak?
Nothing wrong with that. A lot of guys do it. Biggest thing that I would warn you about is when you put your hoop net on your lap, which guys do, to get the lobsters out, watch out for sculpins. All right? Or you'll get one on your lap. And like I said, those things, they sting you. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt really bad. So on a kayak, I've never done it, but I've seen a lot of guys do it. You got to be a little more careful as to when you bring that hoop net up, put it on your kayak. You want to make sure there's no sculpins in your net.
James Mosier agreeing with you once again from Full Spectrum Sport Fishing. He said their biggest lobster was an 8-pound lobster, and yes, it was caught at 1 o'clock in the morning.
There you go.
So it makes sense, Ed, exactly what you're saying. Jeff Lingle says, hit that like button. How about daytime hooping? Can you have success daytime hooping? We get that question a lot, and I'd like to ask you that,
I can't answer that.
Oh, that's a yes.
I have one spot that I catch them during the day. I can't tell you.
Our audience wants to know.
Can't tell you.
These men came out here.
But it all matters on the conditions too. It's got to be good conditions. The water needs to be murky. Okay. I'll give you an idea. It's usually in a cove, shallow water, 10 to 14 feet of water, and it needs to be murky water. If it's real clear, forget about it. Don't even bother.
Daytime lobster, it is a reality.
I have done it, and we'll get our lunch, and then we'll go rock cutting, because it's the season. So, yeah, we would go out there, hoop during the day, get 4 lobsters, be happy, drive out for rock fishing and cook them on the boat and enjoy them out there.
Wow, that is awesome. Because so many people ask that question because this is a nocturnal thing. This is a nighttime thing.
They're cockroaches. They come out at night. Turn out the lights. As soon as it gets dark, they come out. They're bugs. We call them bugs. But yeah, they are nocturnal, but I have found them in shallow water, a murky day, in a cove.
Have you had your better fishing on the coast, in the harbor, or at, say, Catalina Island?
I'd say Catalina, probably. Yeah.
Just less pressure
There's
out there?
yeah, less pressure. There's a lot more spots you can hit, but it tends to be deeper. So you're usually hitting 50, 55 feet of water out there.
I have a question. So you mentioned that it's, for your daytime spot, it's more important. It's important for it to be murky, but
Yeah.
what about normal lobster looping? Like if you're looking at conditions of the water, when you're looking at those conditions, are you looking for water clarity? Are you looking for murkiness? Do those things play a factor in just general spots, not just that specific spot? And what do you prefer and what do you find more successful?
So Brian is asking the question of Ed, is clarity of the water or murkiness of the water also important at night, or what exactly are you looking for in terms of conditions at night to drop your nets in a productive spot? Is that about right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Stirred up water is better. So probably murky is better. But I don't know how it looks when you're down 100 feet or 80 feet, 60 feet. I just know in the shallow water, if it's murky, they crawl more. And I know they crawl during the day, so they do crawl. But they're more vulnerable during the day because they can get hunted by octopus, moray eels, whatever. But I have caught them during the day. And again, every day is different with lobstering. You never know how good it's going to be.
How do you make this, by the way? If you were to break down how this is made, how do you make these?
What are we talking about? Oh, how do we make that?
This?
Yeah.
What's the pieces that people...
Why don't you tell people how they can make their own?
Well, I made these myself. I've seen guys copy them, make them longer. All it is a 1/2-inch PVC, and you got a reducer here, and I run 3/4 here with a cap. This is a coupling, and I put lead in here. I'll fill up a trash can to balance it and see how it floats. You don't want to make it too heavy, but you can hear the sinkers are in there. So, and then this just floats straight up and down. You can literally it looks like a runway for me when I have mine on. And you can see them from 1/2 mile away easily. So this setup works pretty good. And like I said, you can pull up, grab them without using a gaff. If you drive good enough, you can pull up and grab them with your hand. The other benefit is I made them where you can stick them in a rod holder, and then they're out of the way while the other guy pulls.
Yeah, the rope on the bottom. How do you? Yeah, well, like a.
How you fasten?
Oh,
How do you fasten the rope to
this
that?
one just got broken, so I haven't finished it. I'll usually drill through this here and put a thinner rope, like maybe 3/8 rope, and just put a loop here and tie it. And then I put a clip on it, a brass clip, because that won't corrode. And then at the end, wherever the end is here. But anyways, I would just clip it onto here, and you're good.
How do you manage...
Brian
Zip
wants
tie
to
it.
know, how do you manage the line to make sure it doesn't become a hazard to yourself or other boaters and everything else?
Well, you can use these sinkers like I showed earlier. They're made by Promar. You can get them here at Islands. They clip onto the rope. That keeps it tight. Myself, I keep it simple. I keep a bag of zip ties on the boat. Another real important thing, having zip ties, if you get stuck on structure, you will damage your net, and then you're out of a net. But if you have zip ties, you can zip the netting with zip ties back together, and you're back in. You're good. Just always check your gear for holes. Make sure you have zip ties. I prefer black zip ties because it blends in with these. You could patch up a huge hole on these things with just zip ties. So, and then the other thing is, yeah, he's asking about how I manage my rope. Well, as I drop it down, depends on the depth. And then whatever I do, I'll pick up the excess. I'll just coil it up like this, right? Close to the buoy, and I'll put a zip tie on it, okay? The thing is, you don't want to grab this end and pull, because you're going to pull that knot out. So you want to use the gaff, or just pull it lightly until you get to the other side, and then pull it, okay? But that's how I maintain my ropes. I just pull them up, zip tie it, have a huge bag of zip ties on the boat. Real important.
All right, I wanted to ask you about the effect of high tides and current. Is, like you can be looking at 100 yellowtail off your stern. If there's no current, they're not biting.
Right.
You get current, they turn on. Is anything similar to when you're fishing or hoop netting lobster?
Lobster, I do set up different. I look at the way the current is going, of course. And if the rocks are on this side, I'll put my nets on this side, okay? I'll drop them on this side so the scent will go into the rocks if it's tide coming in. If it's tide coming out, you can pretty much still put them the same way in front of the structure. But what you don't want to do is if you leave out too much rope, your buoy could end up over here, and now you're pulling your net into the rocks. And you don't want to do that because you can lose your nets, okay? So you want to make sure if the tide's going this way, you put it on the structure on this side, you want to grab your buoy and go that way and pull it away from the structure. So...
All right, and high tide, low tide, any...
I prefer high tide when it's coming in.
Yeah.
Start right up against the rocks. As the tide goes out, as soon as it changes, you could go out up to 100, 200 feet out and drop them there. Don't give up, because the lobsters crawl. They crawl a long distance. You'd be surprised. Sometimes you could even drop them near a break wall heading towards the beach and drop a couple, because they travel pretty far. They'll travel looking for food, and you'll find a honey hole out there. You never know. You could find a couple rocks, try there. They could be all stacked up there.
Excellent. I want to remind you all, we're coming to you from Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California, where you can pick up all this ProMar gear. You can get it all here at Island Fishing Tackle. And man, they have a ton of different, not only lobster stuff, but all kinds of other stuff to go along with it. Man, I can't believe this. We're looking at like 10 minutes to go in this show. This is like zooming by. So if anybody out here has a question, make sure you get it in before the end. And then we're going to have a giveaway at the end, which Brian will tell me all about. And then I will let you know, because you guys out there, it's just the people into the studio. We have a very rowdy studio audience tonight, which I love, I wish these guys would get a little crazier, to be honest with you, but man, I like it, man. I like that chattering out there and enjoying the presentation. And Ed, you're fantastic, man. You're a fountain of knowledge. You're nothing to it like Brian told me you were going to be. He said, man, you're going to have to carry this guy. Get him out of here,
This is his first seminar he's actually heard me talk at. So.
Oh, well, shoot, Brian. What do you think? Brian's loving it, too.
Yeah.
He's going to replace Ed after tonight.
Ed's done a lot of seminars for us this year already, dude.
Yeah, he's on it. Ed's doing a great job. Anybody out here in our studio audience have a question? Mad Dog, anybody? So when you set the nets, how far apart are the nets? Are they 10 feet apart or 30 feet apart, or what do you want to do?
What's safe is what matters. I'll put them in a row. If I'm on a wall, if I'm in structure like stones, I'll separate them pretty far. So you want to try and see where they're grouped up at. They might be at that apartment building. They might be at that apartment building. So you don't know until you try. But you do want to keep them apart. Now, if you do really well in one spot and you're not doing good at other spots, pull your nets. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. They only crawl really strong for the first few hours, really. By the time you put your 10 nets out, you could literally turn around and go check the first one. And you'll be surprised. You might have 2 or 3 lobsters in there. If you want to wait longer and let them soak, we call it soaking, you could wait 30 to 40 minutes to an hour. And then as the night goes on, you're going to let them soak an hour, hour and a half. If you're still out there at 1 in the morning, 2 hours. Go fish bass or something while you're in the area. Do something else. And you might do really well. You might get that big lunker, 8, 10, 12 pounds. You never know.
All right, good stuff. James Mosier says, let's go back to the molting thing for a moment. I was camping down around San Onofre the day after the Russian tsunami, which I think was a few months ago, as I remember. There were hundreds of molts on the beach. So my best guess is, yeah, they all molt at the same time. So,
right.
Yeah, there's some empirical evidence for
Might
sure.
be, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Blessed says, man, no giveaways for the people watching the show, we did that the other night. We had some great giveaways. We'll have more of that in the future, I guarantee you. James Mosier says, also, Harbor Freight has an extension cord H-frame storage wrap. It's super easy to maintain rope length depending on where you drop.
Right.
I saw you shaking your head there,
They're
right?
orange, yeah, they're orange, and you normally wrap an extension cord on it. You could actually wrap it pretty good on here and lock it down with a zip tie or whatever, and that could be also another way of doing it. Something important to do is make sure if you coil your rope, I prefer this. It comes apart pretty easy. I don't go zip tying them, go crazy, but as you put them away, you want to make sure you put them in a certain way. And always, when you go to pull it back out, you follow where this rope is, and you pull it out the same way. If you start doing this, pulling it one way and another way, you're going to be all tangled up. It's just something I learned. Always make sure, when you put them in here like this, make sure you follow it and pull that same wad out that way.
So actually, one thing that I do is I actually use tape, and I'll mark it here with like a reflective tape, so that way I know I'm always putting it in from the same side.
Oh.
Yeah. You always want to make sure you're putting it in from the same side, because like you said, you don't want to be like fiddling with stuff, because then you lose your spot. You know, like
Come over here closer to this microphone if you're going to keep going on. Yes, get over here.
You heckler.
I don't want to repeat all this crap. Right, guys? Huh? Cut me some slack here.
Everybody's got their preference, extension cord to wrap them up. That extension cord wrap works pretty well. It all depends what you want to do.
James is happy to see the dogs here. That is Anthony. Susan Sosa is joining us right now. Susan is a wonderful person and a great Friedman Adventures family member. Hello, Phil and Friedman Adventures family. Is it best, Ed, to keep lobsters in the fridge overnight or keep them in a bucket with salt water and then cook them in the morning?
Good question.
Excellent question.
Yes. If you want to keep your lobsters alive, the best way to do it is what I learned. I mean, we used to bring salt water home, put them in the salt water, they'd be dead. They're not getting oxygen. When you have them in the bait tank, make sure the bait tank is running. Don't leave it with stagnant water. They're going to die. So if you want to eat them the next day, you could keep them alive for 3-4 days. Okay? The trick is, I freeze water bottles, put them in a big cooler, put one frozen bottle in one corner and one in the other, and that's it. No water, no moisture. Some guys say wet cardboard, whatever, moisture, but it needs to be cool. It needs to be cool. So if you keep them cool with those, not too much ice, you don't want to pour ice on them, because now you're freezing them pretty much. They're going to die. I pulled them out a couple of days later because somebody put ice on them. Luckily, they were still moving. And I guess as long as the ice is cold, everything's cold, they won't spoil on you and you won't get sick if you eat them. I ate them anyways, and I didn't get sick. But, shellfish, anything, you let it get warm, that's it. It's history, okay? It releases toxins, and you're going to have the worst stomach ache ever, okay? So you do want to keep them in a big cooler. Small cooler works. Put a frozen water bottle in there, and just make sure you stay on it. If you're going to keep them a couple of days, put another one in. Keep them nice and cool. They'll be alive for up to 4 days. No problem.
Susan, thanks for the great question. Great to see you here. Also, James Mosier says island fishing tackle is amazing. Sam has everything. Man, you owe James. Let me tell you, Sam. James is a great guy. Full spectrum sport fishing, everybody. Steve Duncan, the Bugman says, great show. Cooking dinner with my ears open. Really enjoying this great show. All thanks to you, Ed. Thang Nguyen says, I would love to go fishing with you all. Do you guys have any trips for the 2026 season? Phil, I only have one schedule right now. That's April 14th through the 19th on the Independence. 5 days in April. Probably bluefin tuna, but you just never know. But we'll get some more trips here, Thang, before too long and let you know all about that. James Mosier says, as far apart as what's safe. The last thing you want is rope in the wheel. So he's talking about, and that is so true. I've had that experience.
And again,
it's brutal.
I want to say this again. Don't be mean to the people around you in their boats. Okay? They may save your life. They may save your boat. I usually, if somebody's out there, I'll try to communicate with them. They're nice people. I'll give them my radio number. I have my radio on, and I let them know, if you're in any danger, please reach out to me. I've been in trouble. I've had a problem where we were out there hooping, several boats out there. I ran over a black rope. Nobody's rope was black. You don't want to use black rope. Where this thing came from, I have no idea. Wrapped on my motor, and at that time I had an inboard outboard. It flooded it, so the motor would not start, and I was heading for the rocks. So I jumped in the water, tried to cut the rope off. While I was cutting, another boat ran in over, almost got my hand in the prop, okay, between the rope and the prop. That would have got me bad. But I was able to get my hand away. I was able to cut it off. Still couldn't start the boat. But the people I knew that were out there came over and rescued me. They came, gave me a rope, and pulled me away. By, a few minutes later, my boat started. But it can happen on an outboard, anything. If you're driving a boat with the props underneath, that's really sketchy. I don't recommend it. If you pull up on a net, make sure you pull up to where, if you miss it or something, you're drifting away from your rope. It's not going under your boat, because that's when it's going to get on your prop. If it goes under the boat, you gaff it, you pull it up, it's going to wrap on your prop. It can wrap on anything on your boat. So you always want to be able to pull up on it where you're going to drift away. So if the wind's pushing you, you want to pull up on the right side, pull up on your nets, pull them that way in case anything happens. Another thing you got to be careful with, if you put them too close to each other, is while you're pulling one, you're distracted, and then you start your boat to move away, you run over the other one. So these are things you got to watch out for. As that current's moving, before you know it, you're on top of another net or somebody else's. So those are important things to look at.
Ed said never drop in windy weather on a break wall. So about 10 years ago, I did just that, maybe longer than that, with 2 kids on the boat, young kids, my kids. Somewhere out there, you guys, is a 911 tape with as many F-bombs as I could jam into it. It is like, really, I would love to hear it again myself, because I was like, our VHF radio went out, so I got on my cell phone, and I'm like, we're going on the effing rocks right now. Just really under control. There's a great 911 tape out there somewhere. We just barely got rescued that time.
There was one night I was out there. I dropped my nets, and this other boat pulls up, and this guy comes up to me and starts cussing me out. That's my spot. You're in my spot. Get out of here. I don't like telling the story, really. But
I like hearing it. Sounds good.
I'll tell you, I was on the right side of Marina Del Rey break wall, put my nets out. This guy comes and starts cussing me out. He's there with his son, an older guy with his son. He might be watching, who knows, but the son. Anyways, the turnout.
Yeah, my kids, huh?
Let's make the story short. I would have gave the guy my radio number and everything, but he was such a jerk, cussing me out and all that I said, okay, guys, we're pulling our nets. We're going to the other end of the wall. So we did. We pulled our nets. We went to the other end of the wall. About 2 hours later, I see the Coast Guard helicopter on the other end of the rocks. I go, oh, my God. I wonder if it's that guy. He had a beautiful boat, beautiful Parker, like a 28-footer, top of the line. I pulled up, went over there. Lifeguard's in the water with a surfboard, and he's got a body on it. It was the old man.
Oh, no.
He got between the boat and the break wall to keep the boat off of the break wall. The wave lifted the boat, dropped it on top of him, crushed him, and killed him. And all I could think about was, why? If he would have been nice, I would have gave him my radio number. He would have called me when he was in trouble. I would have came and saved him. I would have pulled him off. He ran over his own rope, which was now over the top of the rocks, which was crazy. But, yeah, So that guy died that night because
Wow,
of it.
brutal, huh?
Oh yeah, it was
That points out
pretty
this,
upsetting.
This is dangerous because it's going on at night, so you got to be careful, right?
It was a windy night, and like I said, if the guy would have been nice, it would have been different. You know, you want to be nice to people out there. You don't want to be that guy. Okay.
Can we go a little bit longer, or we'll go a few more minutes here, Sam, right? All right, Mitchell says, somebody wake Dan Lightfoot up. I've been watching Dan the whole night. I'm the first one to point out when he falls asleep during the show. And he's been wide awake and enjoying this from the very beginning. Brian Avaro says, if I wanted to add weights to my 32-inch Promar hoop net, because there's a strong current, how do I add the weights? What do you do?
Zip time on the outside ring, on the bottom outside ring, or in the center ring, and you can have it sit pretty good.
Do you sell hoop-net heavies?
This was one that he had there. No, I know the ones that you zip tie on. I don't know if I have any of that.
All right,
If you don't want to add weights, you can buy the heavy Promar.
the 14-pounder.
Yes.
Okay. Wayne Shimabukuro joins us, and he says a lot of great information, and he says safety first. Wayne was a fireman. He worked with Bob Gifford for many, many years, a dear friend of ours who passed away this year. Yeah, thank you, Wayne, for being here, man. I got to check. Do you have something you're bringing, or no? You're doing something?
I was going to call out some prices and stuff.
Oh, I thought you were going to give me my bill. Don't give me that. You know I'm broke. Don't embarrass me in front of all these people here, please. All right, are we going to give something away? And then, Anthony, at the end, I thought, let's just turn the camera around because I'd like these guys to we'll just let it run for 10 minutes while we say goodbye to everybody. And if anybody out there wanted to say something to a family member, a loved one, you're more than easy to do it. All right. Who, me? Oh,
You're already sitting down.
Oh, okay. You mean... All right, go ahead.
Stay right there. Sit down.
What the hell are you talking about?
Sit down.
Oh, what are you going to do? Pull the chair out from under me?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Alrighty. So, I mean, the real common question is, we get phone calls, how much are the nets? We currently have some inventory that we bought last year. So we bought it a little bit better price because, before the tariffs and all that kind of stuff. On top of that, for the rest of the week, anybody who's watching the video, hopefully you catch this today or tomorrow. But for the rest of the week, today, tomorrow, it's Saturday. Today's Thursday, right? Oh, yeah. Today, tomorrow, and Saturday.
Yeah, what day is it?
We're going to knock a little bit off of even what we have them for already. So.
Oh, listen. This raucous crowd is going crazy again.
We got the three sizes, which was the 107, the XL, and the XL Heavy. And I was just kind of figuring out what the prices were going to be. And it runs $55 for the 32-inch 107. $68 for the 36, and then $80 for the heavy if you want the heavy. So that's damn near wholesale cost.
That is a good price.
So that's a pretty good price, and obviously limited stock on hand. We have some stuff out there already on display. I have a little bit of back stock in the other corner there, and that'll apply to all your accessories too, whether it's going to be the cages, the tubes, lights, ropes, and any other kind of rigging that you need. It'll be a similar discount too. Basically 15% off of the old price. And so that's a pretty damn good deal for you guys to get out there and give this a shot.
Yeah, excellent. And these guys tonight can take advantage of that, right?
Obviously, if you're here, you can buy them right now.
Yeah.
But, also for anybody out there who's watching and maybe sees the video tomorrow or something like that, we'll do that at least through the end of the week.
Fantastic. Sam De La Torre, everybody. All right, Moose says SoCal Fishing Boys on YouTube. They've got some hooping videos, so we'll check that out. Also, James Mosier is happy to see you. He wants to see Mad Dog. We're going to turn the camera around. You'll see the dog in just a little bit. How are we giving this away? What are we doing here now? Yeah, you haven't even thought about it, have you? I love it. You had a freaking whole hour to think about
Remember to fill your cards out before you go in.
Just a sweater and a shirt.
What are we going to do?
Here,
It's
Anthony.
one pack,
Anthony,
a sweater
thank you.
and shirt.
You want me to ask a question and the first person to... Well,
Ask a question.
yeah, but it's got to be a lobster question, doesn't it?
Lobster related.
Why don't you ask it?
Does anybody know off the top of their head?
Wait a minute now. Who's going to identify the first person? Dog?
I'll just do it. I'll just do it all.
Okay.
So what is the legal size of carapace for a lobster?
3.25.
Everyone's hand went up almost at the exact same.
All right, so you got to ask another.
Chivo was technically first.
I saw Chivo actually. Yeah.
All right, there has to be another. Yeah, well, everyone's right. 3 1/4. So now we'll narrow it down just to you three. We'll ask the tougher question. What were the prices that Sam said?
58, 80.
Yeah, that was right on, dude.
Is he right?
Yeah, that was dead on.
Rodney, what a memory, man.
Thank you.
All right, there you go.
Let me show it off again for the camera.
Yes, please do.
So these are the new. I'll grab some for you too.
Is that the new one I don't even have?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, and look.
You got it. Look at you.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that thing.
Man,
That thing's
he's buying me
beautiful.
off
We
here.
have the new. We'll just cover his face. We have the new lobster sweaters. And these guys are really.
Those are
cool.
nice. Look at that.
Yeah, they're thicker. They're really good. They're made. I made sure that we ordered them with a thicker weight, so that you guys can grab them and take them out when you guys are lobster hooping and a little bit warmer, and you get the shirt with the same design. So if you guys want to grab some more of those, we'll have them available, and I'm gonna get you a couple of them too, just so you can have here at the store, and you're all set.
you.
Dude. Yeah.
All right, are we done?
Yeah.
That's
so I
it?
just want to reiterate, make sure you guys are coming down to Islands Tackle. Amazing pricing, like that's genuinely really good pricing.
That is a good price, yeah.
So if you guys want to grab your gear, now's the time. Like he said, limited stock. So come down here tomorrow or Saturday, the latest, and grab everything you guys need. If you guys have questions on what you guys need, Sam's an expert. He'll get you guys exactly what you guys need to do. And if you guys have any questions for me right now from the audience, let me know. I'll be over there and I'll answer any questions you guys have about our gear.
All right, everybody. Thank you all who are out there in internet land. It was great to have you with us on the Friedman Adventures. And our great studio audience, our raucous crowd. We're going to turn the camera around and you guys can come up and say hi. I'll come up and say hi, and you can let that roll for 5 minutes, Anthony. We'll just let it go. Let me grab that from you, Ed. By the way, Ed, fantastic job.
Thank you.
That was really great. All right, fantastic. Hit that like button. Hey, Matt, don't go anywhere before I say thank you. Oh, okay, very good.
Did it seem like it?
All right, very good. Justin, nice to meet you, man. Pleasure. Thanks, guys, for being here. Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm Phil.
Oh, man. 1 L or 2?
2 L.
Oh, all right. Well, you got one more than me. Chivo, Peter, Mackie. What's up, my man? Long time no see. How are you? Good. Everything good? Good. Thanks for being here tonight, man. I saw you guys having fun out there.
Hey, I'm Phil.
Hey, Phil, here's our lobster puller.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You gotta come out with me, man. It's been my first season going out, and I did pretty good.
Really?
First day,
Oh,
man.
very good.
Took my boat out for the first time and did.
And you did good?
Yeah.
How many did you get?
Well, it's me and my buddy. We got 6.
That's great, Phil. What are you talking about?
First time ever going by
Man,
myself.
way
I
to
normally
go.
with him and Justin, but
And the feast, I bet, was great, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
always.
that's the
Got
best
some nice
one.
ones.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks for being here tonight.
Oh, no problem.
That's
man.
really nice to
I
meet
watch
you.
the videos. They
Thank
always
you.
talk about you, and I'll be watching.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you so
They
much.
send them to me. They send them to me all the time.
They're trying to torture you.
Yeah. No, they don't. You got good info all the time.
Good to see you, Chivo. Good job, everybody. Sam. All right. I think we can say goodbye now. Hey, thanks, everybody. Hit that like button. I'll be back with the morning briefing tomorrow morning. And then we have a tour through Baja Fishing Tackle tomorrow at 2 p.m. That'll run tomorrow afternoon. Once again, Promar, Ahi, Lobster Chronicles. Such a pleasure to be with you all and with all these great people. And Brian Sanchez. He's over there hiding from Promar also. Take care. We'll see you soon, everybody.